You would think after 38 years of doing this photography malarkey, I would have it all sorted out. But actually, I've picked up a bad habit. Everyone's photography can become a bit formulaic and habitual, yours and mine. And that's exactly what's happened to me. So exactly what's wrong with your photography becoming a bit formulaic? Well, you see, that depends on the formula. And in my case, the formula is good photography equals dawn shoots and getting up early in the morning. Although that may be fine in the winter, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning in the summer, or even earlier if you've got somewhere to travel, just gets to be a bit of a pain, to be perfectly honest. I believe that the dawn light is better and it suits my photography more. Well, I've just got to find a different way to shoot. So I've come out tonight to Bossington Beach on the North Devon Coast to try and experiment a little. So what is it that I'm exactly looking for? Well, normally I like some nice, calm, soft, gentle landscapes. So I'm going to try and take something, taking in the sweep of the beach, which is behind you. Although looking in the viewfinder, there might be another subject behind me to look at in a minute. But I'll take this one first. So I've just been perfecting my composition. It's taken a little bit of sorting out because there's a groin about halfway along the beach and I couldn't quite decide where to put it. Initially I had it on the bottom third, but the balance just looked wrong with the rest of the elements in the frame. So I've actually put the camera in 16:9 format, and now I've got that groin at the top of the third. On the top third, it looks quite good. I'm using the sweep of the beach just to take your eye around and then out to that headland just down past Bossington. I suppose the only issue I've really got with it is that there's a large open empty area of space which is the sea, and that's one of the problems that you get with seascape photography, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I've been trying to decide whether or not I want to have that smooth or with some texture in it. I think because it's so empty I'm going to leave the texture in it, so I'll put the settings up on the screen for you in a minute when I've finished. The other thing I've had a bit of an issue with is depth of field. I'm trying to avoid focus stacking, to be honest. So I've been messing about with the aperture and zooming in on the preview on the back of the camera to see which parts of the frame are sharp and not sharp. I think I've got it about right. There might be something in the bottom right hand corner which is actually going to come out blurred, but it's not too bad. It's not going to detract too much from the image. Well, I'm quite pleased with that first photograph, but it didn't really hit the mark. To be honest, when I turned the camera around 180 degrees and looked the other way at my second choice, the light had changed and there's some fantastic recession in the cliff sides going out into the distance. I've also got a groin in this shot as well, so it's very similar compositionally, but it's slightly better atmospheric and lighting conditions. Because I'm shooting almost into the sun now, I also had to put a 0.6 graduated filter right across the top. It's a hard grad, and it just sort of gives me that edge. Now, I don't normally use graduated filters, so we'll have to see how this comes out because it's not normally the type of thing I would do. But with a bit of luck, it'll come out fairly well. Have a look at this and see what you think. The whole purpose of tonight's shoot was to break away from my normal habit of getting up early in the morning and going out and searching out for that beautiful dawn light. And I've got to be honest, the two photographs that I've just taken aren't really curing me from that affliction. Maybe the second one is a point and a step in the right direction. But like with anything new, you've got to just keep trying and persevering, because if you don't, you're never ever going to achieve those goals. So this is looking a bit more like it. So I've found a wonderful piece of driftwood that's really hitting the mark a bit closer. One of the branches is pointing away and up to the sky towards where the sun is, which I'm going to keep out of the composition, and the other piece curves around back towards the land. But it's got this beautiful sort of backside rim top lighting thing going on with the sun going down behind it. Sorry, I don't think I explained that very well, but you get the idea when you look at the finished picture. And of course we've got the contrast against it of these wonderful pebbles, and I like that in a composition. I like the contrast between the rock and the wood, and these two elements, these two things working together in the composition. It's being given a bit of depth because it's got the headland going out away into the distance, and it's in 3 separate sets of cliffs which give it that idea of distance. The only thing though, like with the other image, it's quite complex. There's still quite a lot in it. There's the remains of an old groin part way up the beach, which is sat in between the 2 branches. So it kind of works okay as a composition, but it's still not quite simple enough to hit that mark for me tonight. I'm going to let you have a look at this picture because I think I'm going to have to wait for that sun to get closer to the horizon or go down completely until I get that warm, soft lighting which I'm craving so much. The whole beach lined with groins, it was quite difficult to decide which ones to go for. But the driftwood kind of pointed me in the direction of the most logical choice. I ended up here where I am now. I've had to move quite quickly because the sun, well, the sun's actually already now dipped below the horizon. So it's in that dusk sort of time of the day. There's still a nice rich glow of warm light on the sky, but unfortunately the horizon is clouded in and completely snuffed out, so I don't think we're going to get anything more of that reflected light, but I'll try a few more shots anyway. Whilst I was setting up and taking the shot that I've just done, I did go through the composition, so I'm going to show you that now so you don't miss out. So let me put some viewfinder footage up on the screen for you, probably just over my shoulder. The reason I chose this set of groins was quite simply because I wanted to make sure that I had something that sat in the frame nicely. When I got down low and looked at these, I could see that I could get the right hand groin right into the edge of the frame, together with the left hand one as well. What that meant was that I had this nice diagonal cutting straight across the frame, taking your eye out to this empty, endless sea. Contrasting with the water and the texture in the rocks, I think this comes together quite well. And this is probably the closest I've got to tonight of having that simple photograph that I wanted to go at. I was hoping a little bit for some different light than I've got now. I was hoping that when the sun went down below the horizon, it was just clear enough to have some reflected warm light coming back down. But unfortunately, the sun is snuffed out behind what looks to be some kind of hazy cloud bank, and I can't get that reflected light that I wanted. There is a little bit on the water, but just not coming in to the position that I want and reflecting on the edge of the groins. Anyway, it's worked out really, really well for me. If you want to find out more about seascape photography, then recently I went to a trip to Cornwall under some very challenging conditions. You might be interested to watch this video or the others from the same playlist. It was certainly worth coming out, breaking away from that habitual formulaic style of photography and trying something new. When you try something new, you grow.